Club. Oh, we got Ron Rose. What's up, Ron?
What's up, Ron?
Uh,
What's going on?
430second.com. Get to the tracker through the QR code. Get 3 hours in the morning. Ron and I found out yesterday that our CEO of our business either got retired or left or. Did he get retired?
I'm pretty sure he got retired. I don't think he chose to retire.
Yeah.
It might just be my guess.
Yeah, he seemed pretty enthusiastic about the job.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, right? Like, just like lots of organizations. I mean, I don't know, one of the public articles pointed back that there was quote unquote negative growth several quarters in a row, 6 quarters to be exact. Maybe that
Oh,
had
okay.
something to do with it. Maybe it had something to do with the just consolidation, right? We have a holding company, and we appointed a new CEO of it, and he was the CEO of the real estate division. Then we have a mortgage division. Then we have something else, and so maybe that was just the consolidation. So I
Do you
don't know.
know that? Yeah. I thought I like Nick. Did you like Nick?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Wow.
He's a nice person. Yeah.
You like the new
With
one?
you, with you guys though, like, do you really? I mean, it sounds like he has, you have an overall template of business, but I mean, you run, that's the umbrella. You run your own business within the business. Like how much are they, into your
Art.
day-to-day business? It's not a lot, is it?
No, I mean not from that role. I mean every company needs a leader that obviously steers the ship for the direction that it's been pointed, right? I mean,
Yeah, if you hang
Remax
your
is a
shingle,
franchise company, so he leads the franchise sales division. So we are a real estate brand, but we're unique because our corporate company doesn't actually sell real estate. I mean, they're a real estate brand, but they sell real estate franchises to people who sell real estate. So, um, so to your point, Rob, he did not have a lot to do with the day to day of the real estate transaction, but he had a lot to do with growth of recruiting and outreach and where are we going to expand and at least the residential real estate sector of it. Not even just residential. I mean, he was CEO for Remax, so it was residential and commercial and luxury. So I don't know. What do you think?
me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's interesting. I mean, I hang my shingle there. I mean, it's like grandpa's brand that had somebody completely unqualified to run it during some boom years. Um, Adam Contos, which who knows? I don't know. I liked Nick Bailey. I think because he was a real estate agent. I don't really know Amy Lessinger. I know of her. So I don't know. It's kind of like the president of the United States. A lot of times he inherits something, and things happen regardless of who you got there, right? So they either get the accolades for the success, or sometimes they make some impact. But it's I think it's challenging for our brand, the Remax brand, to kind of like, I think you have to make a massive effort to sort of recreate yourself and get some momentum going, that you're not this old legacy brand competing with these new sexier sort of business models that have a lot of growth. And I think it's hard to compete when you have this. At one time we were the pioneer in the new business model, and I think it's really cool. Except that that was what, in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was.
Yeah, our company is 50 years old, Rob. So there's
We're like
things-
OP corduroy shorts. They
Well,
were
I mean,
cool. They were
Velcro
cool.
wallet. Yeah,
What's that?
Velcro wallet.
They were
In
cool
the,
in '84.
in Columbia, like I'm clearly from Anne Arundel County, so moving, my wife being from Howard County, moving to Columbia, we're in Woodstock, Ellicott City. Everybody in that, not everyone, but like a significant amount of people, in the early '90s, that grew up in Howard County. Many of them got into, whether it was mortgage, but a lot of them got into Remax. I mean, from
Bob
the
Lucido was Remax.
Eric Pakula. I mean, there was just a Pat. I think Pat Hyben was originally.
Pat Hyben was Remax. A lot of the big people that ended up at Keller Williams were Remax at the brand that I'm at now, at the brokerage I'm at, Remax Advantage.
Yeah. So I mean, I saw. I mean, there was a lot of people that it was just Remax everywhere. That was early in my time in Howard County. So.
And then KW came out and got a lot of them. Pakula had a car accident, and he's not really that operational. But these new models come out, and I don't know. I look at the demographics of Remax, and it's trending very old, and I don't know. I mean, just in our area. So yeah, it's interesting when you see that kind of turnover. Who knows what kind of metric they based it on, but we do. I think probably selling franchises slowed down, right? So they try their best to support their agents, but really I think their success is in selling franchises, which has to be tough now, because I think like my first broker, who then I partnered with in a Remax brokerage, was he passed away, but he was probably 25 years older than me. When you were a top producing agent, the next move was to buy a brokerage. I mean, Ram owns a brokerage. I think the next generation or two, like mine, the next move was, even though I have had ownership in brokerages, was to build a team and make the money there without the headache of the brokerage, right? So there's kind of a movement, and now it's like, be a team, and you can be in a virtual brokerage and have stock ownership and all these other really nice benefits, because there's not this extra franchise layer that they're pulling money out of. That money's going to the agent and stock options and things like that. So it's an old model that they're going to put some new faces in front of, and it's like we're retro, right? Retro's coming back.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I look at some of the older ones, and I consider them to be a little bit more retro traditional, trying to make a comeback, like with the changes. Like, I mean, Coldwell Banker, right? They're over 100 years old. I mean, they're obviously part of Anywhere and making changes. I mean, there's three.
And they completely rebranded and recreated themselves, right? Anywhere, right?
There's three distinct different types of brokerages. There's that old school traditional franchise. Then there's the agent centric model, and then there's a cloud type variation. So, I mean, I think the cloud one makes sense for growth, right? Like, younger people can jump on a Zoom and they can work remotely and schedule appointments online. They don't need to come in, right? So I think that selling, thousands of franchises, will absolutely get, more challenging, right? Because like, you don't have to open up a Taco Bell. You can just become a DoorDash driver and go pick up from lots of different options, right?
Yeah, I think those, like the Caldwell Bankers and Long and Fosters, although Long and Foster is kind of dying out in our area.
Okay.
They do have a lot of personnel and organization that, well, actually Long and Foster I don't think is dying out. I think in different parts of our area it's still big. but they seem to have good retention for some, for people that like hands-on support and managers in every office and multi levels of management. They seem to keep a lot of people around.
Average age is much older, I would imagine. Like the average age of their agent seems to be a good bit older.
85.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there, man. It's up there. But they're, they've been it's like folks that have been in the community a long time. They're just not making a change. They're, it's their it's their business, it's their market within their, it's their backyard. But
I'm loyal to it, man. I've been loyal to the brand. I just got here, I've been here 20 years but it sucked watching us be the number one brand in like every metric. And each year we're not growing like we were, and then we're not doing this and nothing's happening. Like we're just, like sort of not, changing course of what it was that we are. So it's been painful to see slow movement around teams. Like when KW was like, KW got all the like sort of people that wanted to be in the pyramid scheme, and then they started going after the big teams, and doing everything they could to get the big teams over by making it not even like almost like a loss leader for the big teams. And one by one they just started snagging the biggest teams. It was like Nick Waldner was a Remax, and he's a big team. I mean, you can go down the list of all of the big teams that were at Remax that got snagged. And
did you feel, I mean, I look at it, but like, what if you would have had, like, if you didn't, I don't know, having your own business within the business, like if you didn't believe like some of the things, the brand, like.
It's never rose to the level of me,
Right.
of importance, because I've been it works for me.
Right.
It's not, I don't blame the brand when my business is down. Like I don't blame the CEO when the franchise stops selling, because the whole market's, in the tank over the last couple of years. So I don't blame. A lot of people blame the brand. That's a good time to bring on agents when they can't take responsibility for the things they're not doing. They blame it on their office or whatever, and it could be partially true if you're really not holding yourself accountable. But
I guess I meant more if the brand or the organization was pushing down, like, seems like you can run your business without having to being required to implement things that you don't necessarily like. It seemed like during that time of Keller Williams, and in particular, that they tech company based, they were really pushing the technology. You'd always hear technology or EXP, but I mean, I would look at the old brand in this case, like Remax, if you consider that, then at least you're not being pushed to do things that maybe necessarily you don't believe in.
There were pros and cons. Certainly, I think, like initially what made KW interesting probably turned off a lot of people.
Right.
I was watching a cool video about Under Armour, which I know a lot of those guys that started Under Armour, and it's in our backyard, and where they shit the bed is because they decided they were a tech company. They made this pivot into wearable technology and apps and everything that all just died. They spent $1 billion on it as a big gamble, and nobody could check, the founder, CEO into doing that. He got rope-a-doped in by these tech companies, and then he started calling his company a tech company. And KW calls himself an education company, just happens to sell real estate, right?
Well, that's how they make their money. They make their money on selling coaching, right? So, and it seems like EXP is probably becoming, and the older version of the cloud bases, right? So the cloud-based brokers, people are leaving them to go to the newer iterations. It's a better mousetrap. But what we do on a day-to-day basis, boots on the ground, we help clients buy and sell and make informed decisions, regardless of the brand, right? So.
Yeah,
I haven't heard any real buzz, like like when KW made that shift or EXP. Like I haven't heard any real estate buzz as to like there's any one place, that somebody there just hasn't been like it seems like a momentum or shift.
There hasn't been another Remax, that's for sure, that really shook it up in a dramatic fashion. Well, actually, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I mean, because KW did shake it up, and then EXP has shook it up. Now Real is kind of shaking it up.
Yeah. I think the whoever changes the landscape isn't there yet because all of them are just doing the same thing, just in a different box. I think sooner or later it's going to be, like a Zillow, right? End to end consumer, basically look on app, virtual showings, draft offer, close, they have all the components to pull it together.
We're gonna wake up one morning and CoStar and Zillow merged and bought Redfin,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna be delivering eggs at Safeway.
Maybe that's an optimistic note to maybe end the call on.
Yeah, well, that's something to call them. We'll pick this up tomorrow. I'm kidding. I did
Well,
triple news for the first time in I'm in my 5th year. I actually today I woke up at 4:28. I was like, oh shit! Like I was in La La Land. It was pretty funny. First time.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, to end on this note on my side, it is interesting. I have an 18-year-old where I think me getting up early, he's going into his senior season, already committed to his school, but wants to have a great year. He saw me getting up early and then thought like, hey, if I just have a little bit more, I don't have time to put in this extra work. The guys that I'm competing with, the enemy, at the rival high schools and stuff, those are the guys that he wants to, he has a big, there's a lot of competition between them that he figured it out. I don't know if it's because he saw like I'm not preaching to him.
Lead by example, man.
Well, I mean,
Quiet
model
leadership.
behavior and stuff. So it's good to see young people can also clearly,
Yeah.
old guys like me, and then young
They
people
pay
can.
attention, man. They pay attention.
They do pay attention. So
Ron, good to see you. Rob, good to see
cool,
you.
man.
Hey, Ron, hang out for a second when you in the live stream.